So I was just having a conversation with a client about the hidden cost of soul loss or disassociation. I've said this quite a few times in my work, but I think it helps to understand that when we are in soul loss, when we fragment, we have this aspect of the normal everyday going on with life self. We have our certain aims, we have our agendas, we have our desires for life, and we have this, momentum wanting to take us forward in the direction that we would ideally like to see our life. However, in the unconscious, these are the parts of self that have been either split off, fragmented, repressed, and delegated outside the realm of our everyday consciousness and our awareness. Now, these become the shadow vibrations, the shadow frequencies that counter-oppose or get in the way of our aims and ideals. Because the unconscious is the largest sphere of energy, it governs like 90 or 95% of our consciousness. It dictates things from here. So this is where we can have, split off parts within the self that have certain fears, agendas, motivations, control mechanisms, defense mechanisms, protecting mechanisms that have come from that traumatic incident. So whilst we're wanting to go in one way, our conscious mind is kind of directing our life and wanting to go here, we can have these unconscious shadow motivating forces that block us or keep us stuck. Now, I often give the analogy to my clients that when we have some form of soul loss or when we have some form of structural disassociation, when we experience those aspects of ourself in the unconscious or in the astral body or the dream body, we are like a hamster in a wheel or a mouse in a wheel going around and around and around in that narrative, in that vibration, in that frequency. And this is how we can live out these roles, these agendas, these limitations, these, just aspects that keep us stuck and not able to go forward. So we're needing to really, if we're going on the healing path, those aspects of us that are in the unconscious, whether it's an aspect that's stuck in a trauma narrative, or it's a self-defeating aspect, or it's a saboteur, or it's a protector, the conscious mind really wants something, but these parts are defending against that. They're antagonistic against that. So it's really about working with these parts of self so that the entire self, the complete self, can go on its journey and move forward together as one unison. It's hard, it's very hard to do that if we have these aspects of us in the unconscious that are keeping us stuck and they're not coming forward. As I said, the unconscious has the greatest sphere of energy, the greatest sphere of magnetic pull, of vibration. So we do tend to repeat certain things, or we can have certain stories or certain patterns that just keep on repeating and repeating. And if we are going to change those, we do have to go into the unconscious. We do have to go to those parts. We can't just split those parts off. We can't exile those parts. We can't pretend that they're not there. In order for us to come into soulful alignment, to come into our highest potential, we really do have to change those narratives, change the way that those parts see themselves. And in my work, for whatever reason, I'm able to dialogue with those aspects of a client's psyche. I can telepathically see them, I can hear them, I can hear their belief systems, which is, a really important understanding. I think that they can tell me what they've made something mean in their lives. They can communicate to me, and then we can do the repair and the restructuring. I know like IFS models work with different parts of self. I haven't studied IFS or even read any of the literature, but I know how Richard Swartz, through an interview, understood these parts of self, and that was through witnessing in his clinical practice, his client's psyche. I've been doing this work for 15 years, and this is how I've come to understand the various parts of self, by being able to dialogue with them, being able to witness them, and being able to comprehend their story, their narrative, and also being able to engage with them and work with them and bring them on a path of healing and repair, and getting the whole self moving together forward in an aligned, in a soul-centered, in a healthy and in a whole way. So I thought I would share that, because sometimes people, what do I do in my work? And largely I am in that realm of the unconscious, working with those parts of self that the client is not aware of or in contact with, because we have certain defenses, we have certain things that delegate things into the unconscious that the conscious mind just isn't aware of. And to seek change, to seek healing, to seek transformation, we really need to work with those unconscious aspects of self.